joining me again. In this video, I'll be discussing permanent residency renewals with humanitarian and compassionate arguments. This application is specifically for clients who do not meet the residency obligation. Most of my clients who do not meet the residency obligations are actually outside of Canada. The majority of the clients are actually in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, places like this where they have a very good job and they cannot return to Canada. So if you cannot return to Canada or have not been returning to Canada and do not meet the residency requirements, then potentially this video is very much suited for you. We can provide the immigration officer with humanitarian and compassionate arguments, essentially stating to the officer why you cannot meet the residency obligation. What the officers look for is a few things. One is when you became landed, how long did you stay in Canada? So that's kind of important. If you became landed in Canada and you tried for a year or two and you were not able to stay in Canada for whatever the reason may be, and you had to exit, then your chances of getting the application approved do increase. Some of my clients, they become landed, they stay a couple of days, and then they exit. So we have to really explain to the officer why this was the situation. One of the things that we can state is you intended to always return back as soon as possible, but life happened and that prevented you from coming to Canada. The other things that they look for is what do you have in Canada? So the more ties you have in Canada, the higher the chances of approval. And by ties, I'm talking about family, friends, commitments in Canada, employment, properties, bank accounts, things like this. So the more we can show that you had every intentions of returning and that you never closed down these ties, or you did and then you reopened them, the higher the chances of approval. The other thing is, why did you leave in the first place? And this is very important. So the three main reasons that have the highest chance of approval are employment reasons, family emergency, and the best interest of the child. So I'll explain all three briefly. Employment is probably my number one clientele where they have left Canada because they just simply couldn't find a good job in Canada and they have back home. Most of my clients are from Pakistan, India, Dubai, places of these countries, and they just simply couldn't find a job that could match what they have back home. So we have to explain to the officer that they are the breadwinners and they are the ones who support their family in Canada, and they have been and continue to apply for positions in Canada. So employment is the number one reason. The second reason is family emergency. So for that, usually our clientele are individuals who have to take care of an elderly parent, they had a death in the family, or some emergency happened that prevented them from coming to Canada. If you are still taking care of that situation, so let's say if our argument is an elderly parent, then we have to explain to the officer what has changed. Has another caregiver been provided to take care of that elderly parent that allows you to come back? Or God forbid that parent has passed away and now your commitments are done outside of Canada and you can return to Canada. So we really have to flesh out to the officer again why you left and what has changed now that allows you to come back to Canada. And the third is the best interest of the child. Obviously, children under the age of 18 usually stay with mom and dad, and they really don't have a say as to which country they stay. So it is in the best interest of that child for them to return. Also, if the child is in Canada and is a minor, it is in the best interest of that child to be reunited with the parent. So these are the three main reasons. Obviously, there are more, but these have the highest chance of approval. If you fall under this situation where you're stuck outside of Canada or your PR card is soon going to expire and you cannot commit just yet to stay and meet the residency obligation, do give us a call. We're here to help. I'll be able to guide you through what does and what does not work. I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, at Expiring Associates, there's always a way.